Hello, YouTube. Today I'm going to be reviewing the DC animated movie Green Lantern First Flight. Um, Now, when this came out, um, when this uh, when this first came out, the first this was the first time um, Warner Brothers Animation had done a Green Lantern movie. Um, so this is And now this is the origin. Hal Jordan is the Green Lantern in this, and this is the origin story of how he becomes a Green Lantern. Um, so the movie opens with Hal doing a job for Ferris Air. Piloting a um, he is piloting a I'm not entirely sure what it what it is, but he's piloting something for them, and we see and then we see Abin Sura, who is the who if you're familiar with Hal Jordan's origin story, um, he is the Green Lantern that gives Hal Jordan his ring. So um, so he is telling he is telling his ring to find um, to find someone to find a successor, because Abin, who was very seriously injured on a job that he was doing for the Corps, for the Green Lantern Corps. He is on the verge of death, and he pretty much knows that he's going to die. So, um, so he is telling his ring to go find a worthy successor. So, um, so the ring basically lures Hal Jordan to where Abin Sura is, and um, so he lands. So Hal lands where Abin is, and and Hal Hal comes out, and he obviously, and he sees Abin, and remember, this is the origin story. So so Hal obviously has no idea like who Abin is. He just sees um he just sees someone in need of help. Um so he rushes over to try to help him, and Abin and Abin says, no, it's fine. I'm um my time has come. Um so so Hal when a Green Lantern dies, a ring, or their ring flies off their finger, and goes their ring flies off their finger, and um it goes off to find a successor. Um Abin tells Hal Jordan, Hal Jordan that his ring has chosen Hal as a successor. The Basically, people who are fearless and pure of heart are only people who are fearless and pure of heart are Green Lantern material. So, so, so the ring chooses Hal, and um, the ring chooses Hal, and Hal, obviously has no idea what, like what's going on, or what, um, or what, or just, basically what, any of this is. So, um, so Abin tells Hal that the Guardians will send for him, and they'll explain, everything. So, um, so the Green Lanterns, the some of the other Green Lanterns find Hal Jordan, and they obviously have no idea who he is. They don't understand why, Hal Jordan is wearing Abin's ring. They don't, they have they're pretty much in the dark as much as Hal is. So, um and this is where Sinestro shows up. And again, if you're familiar with the Green Lantern mythology, or if you've seen this movie, um, you know that Sinestro is he was originally the greatest Green Lantern, of them all. He was the smartest. He was he was the most brilliant lantern out of pretty pretty much, out of like all the Green Lanterns. He was considered the best. um so they take so Sinestro shows up, and with a few other members of the Corps, um and they're like and they explain to him, they explain to him, they're like, we're here to take you back to Oa, which is the planet where the other Green Lanterns and the Guardians are. And they Sinestro says to Hal, he goes, "We're here to take you back for a little chat." And Tomar-Re, one of the other Green Lanterns, goes, "The ring isn't yours until the Guardians have decided otherwise." So, so they take him back, and um, they don't, and the Guardians don't understand why. I mean, they do. They know that um they obviously know that, when a lantern dies, the ring chooses, the ring chooses a successor. But what they don't understand is how somebody like Hal Jordan ended up, or somebody like Hal Jordan is worthy, is worthy of the ring, because nobody because in this movie, um in this movie there aren't any, this is the first time that the Green Lantern ring has chosen a human. Most of the most of the members of the Green Lantern Corps are like aliens, and um are like aliens or creatures from, like another world. So Hal Jordan is the first human to don, a Green Lantern ring. Excuse me, sorry. And the Guardians don't, the Guardians don't understand how, how Hal Jordan is worthy of the ring. And and the Guardians are like, I'm afraid that the human race does not have the most stellar reputation. and so the Guardians, they don't trust humans. They don't um they don't trust humans. They don't um basically they don't understand the human race, which is part of the reason why they don't understand why Hal Jordan is worthy, of this ring. And um so which brings Hal Jordan to basically say, look, you want this ring back, take it. I didn't ask for this. And and which brings, one of the other Guardians to say, you know, um, which brings one of the other Guardians to say, it the human has a point. If he was unworthy, as everybody says, no power in the galaxy could have forced that ring on his finger, but there it is at one with him. So so they don't quite, again, they don't quite understand how this ring y- y- ended up on their finger, like how he could possibly be worthy, um of the ring. So Sinestro, um offers to basically take Hal Jordan under his wing, train him up, see what he's made of, um and stuff like that. Um so he um so the Guardians put it to a vote, and then they say, um and then they all agree. They all agree, and they're like, okay, um he's under your command now. Um so he so Sinestro basically takes him under his wing and trains him. However, they don't really get along. They don't Sinestro, who has been um under, like, a lot of stress lately, um is acting, quite he's not acting the way, he doesn't act in a way, that the members of the Corps would act. He's he's basically he's abusing his power. He's the Green Lantern Corps are basically cops. They're basically um they're basically cops, but instead of having guns, they have rings. Um and um their ring gives them, not only the ability to fly, but also, um it gives them the ability to craft, um to it gives them the ability to craft, constructs, excuse me, sorry. It gives them the ability to craft constructs, basically if they can imagine it, the ring can create it. um and it takes an incredible amount of concentration to be able to work, to be able to work, the Green Lantern ring. um and However, the ring does need to recharge like every 24 hours. um so he takes Hal Jordan, under his wing, and they don't they don't really get along. Like I said before, Sinestro is, abusing his power. He's acting in a way that, that goes against, like what the Green Lantern Corps stands for. um and eventually, and obviously, eventually, this isn't really a spoiler. Um, Sinestro does don the yellow ring, and he becomes, um, and he turns into a bad guy. Um, so, and the Guardians didn't really, um, you know, there are times in the movie where they need to reprimand Sinestro several times, saying, this isn't, you know, this isn't, this isn't, what the Corps stands for. We don't act this way. We don't, we don't do this kind of stuff. You know, you don't, you don't try to save the Corps by ignoring what it stands for, basically. So, um, so he, um, and by the end of the movie, um, by the end of the movie, Hal is, put in a position where it's up to him to try to stop Sinestro, and save the Corps. Um, and basically show, and basically prove to the Guardians that he is, um, that the Guardians, are wrong about the human race, and that heroism can, and that heroism can come out of the most unexpected places. Um, which is what Hal ends up proving to them by the end of the movie, is that humans are not, um, is that, humans aren't necessarily what the Guardians originally thought that they were. Um, and, Hal is, um, and, he proves to them, you know, he, um, he proves to them that, that humans are, um, again, not what the Guardians originally thought that they were, but also, um, but, but also that, heroism is, um, it can, heroism, it can come from anyone, not just, not just, like aliens or creatures, or, or whatever, um, but yeah, no, um, this movie is just so good. I mean, this movie, Warner Brothers Animation spent so little time on Earth on this movie. A lot of it, excuse me, most of it takes place, in outer space. Um, most of it takes place in outer space. Um, most of it, takes place in outer space. We have some scenes, that take place on Oa, but the majority of the movie takes place, in fact, the majority of the movie is basically set on Oa. The final act of the movie is set on Oa. Um, the Basically, the only time that this movie takes place on Earth is really at the beginning of the movie, when Hal first gets the ring. That's really it. That's really all that you see of Earth in this movie. Um, um, Christopher Maloney voices Hal Jordan in this movie, and he does a good job. Um, he does a good job capturing Hal Jordan's, like cockiness and um um he does a good job capturing Hal's, like cockiness and his like his wit and um his kind of, like sarcastic like sense of humor. Um Victor Garber voices Sinestro, and he also does a really good job um capturing of like embracing Sinestro's ruthlessness by the end of the movie, because again, um he becomes a bad guy by the end of the movie. Um and he does a good job um at bringing that ruthlessness, that evil, um to the character in a way that it is believable, and um in a way that it is believable, and that you truly um and that you truly see just like how far Sinestro has gone. um the movie was written by Alan Burnett, who, um if you watch the DC, whether you watch, like the DC animated movies, or whatever, you're gonna know who he is right off the bat. But if there's anyone here who's not familiar with him, um he worked on the majority of these DC animated movies. Like I said, he wrote this one. He wrote Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. Um, he worked on the original Batman the Animated Series back in the day. He worked on he just he did a ton of stuff, and he's a very, very talented very, very gifted um creator. um but yeah, no, this movie is I mean, obviously, like if you're a Green Lantern fan, definitely watch it, because if you're a Green Lantern fan, obviously watch this. If you're a DC fan, watch it. um yeah, no, uh, this movie is just so good, and I would very, very highly recommend this. And I would very, very highly recommend this. And just say, if you haven't watched it, watch it. So let me know what you guys think. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Excuse me. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.